Once upon a time, in a small village called Miri, there lived a girl named Ngozi. Ngozi was born into poverty. She was born into a family that was highly regarded as an outcast in Miri village. Despite the terrible situation of her parents, they still chose to call her Ngozi, which means blessing, as her parents believed she was going to rescue their lineage from poverty. Though as time passed by, Ngozi's life felt more like a burden than a blessing. Her parents passed away under mysterious circumstances just 5 months after her birth. Since Ngozi's parents were regarded as outcasts, they were not given a befitting burial in Miri village. Since it was believed that no one who was regarded as outcast should marry, make friends, or be recognized in Miri community, Ngozi's grandma, Anene, took the responsibility of caring for Ngozi as a baby. Anene will work day and night to fend for herself and Ngozi. They were very poor, as they could barely afford a square meal, as Anene will have to work throughout the day for them to eat. As a child, Ngozi was often bullied and mocked by other kids because she looked different and unique from other children. She was very, very tall and skinny, which made her stand out even more. No one wanted to be her friend because she was regarded as an outcast, and to them, they felt her appearance was strange and scary. The kids in the village would call her all sorts of awful names, which made Ngozi feel very sad. Whenever she walked down the street, people would stop her and stare at her in a strange way because she looked different from other children in the village. It got to an extent that false rumors began to circulate among villagers, accusing Ngozi of possessing harmful powers that further isolated her from the community. But from day one, Ngozi never wallowed in self-pity, as she wasn't one to sit around feeling sorry for herself. She was an obedient child and helped her grandma a lot, especially with farm work. During her free time, Ngozi enjoyed running. She would run a very long distance and never get tired. She had very long legs, which made her very fast, as she used those opportunities to run to the deeper part of the bush to fetch firewood for cooking and also water from the stream. Her grandma always watches her as she will run and will say to her, "Ngozi, your legs will take you places. Ensure you use them." But Ngozi never really understood the depth of her grandma's advice. As Ngozi grew older, her grandmother's health began to decline due to old age, leaving Ngozi as the sole caretaker of the house. Ngozi had juggled between taking care of her grandmother, attending school, and working odd jobs in nearby farms. It was a really difficult time for her. Despite her efforts, she still struggled to gather enough money to pay her school fees. Ngozi was often the last to pay her fees at school because she had to save every penny from her various odd jobs. Each time she fell behind, the head teacher would scold her, warning her about the consequences of her actions. One day, the head teacher was no longer patient and decided to comfort Ngozi. "Ngozi Bia, we can't keep going on like this. You have owed school fees for too long, and this place is not charity. When are you paying?" The headmaster declared, his tone firm with frustration. Tears dropped from Ngozi's eyes as she pleaded, "Please, sir, don't send me away. I promise I will pay by the end of this week. My grandma is not feeling too well, had to use all the money to sort her medical bills. Before Ngozi could finish the sentence, the head teacher interrupted. Excuses upon excuses. This was all I keep hearing from you, Ngozi. Despite her heartfelt pleas, the head teacher remained unmoved, and Ngozi was forced to leave the school premises. Her dreams of education became slowly impossible. Ngozi went back home crying, only to find her grandmother, Anene, in a weak state, with the village pastor, Pastor Okonkwo, by her side. Before she gave her final breath, Anene said, Ngozi, Pastor Okonkwo will take good care of you. I entrusted your care to him. Make sure you be of your best behavior. As you know, I am growing weaker and weaker, and my health is failing me. One last thing I want you to remember. Your legs will take you places. Ngozi, ensure you use them. After speaking, Anene gave up her last breath. Ngozi was thrown into confusion as she wailed and shouted, Mama, please do not go. It took the effort of Pastor Okonkwo to comfort Ngozi, but no matter how hard he tried, Ngozi's weeping was uncontrollable. Pastor Okonkwo covered Anene in a white linen cloth, said a prayer, and then went to inform the village elders. However, because Anene was regarded as being part of the outcast lineage, she was denied a befitting burial. All this made Ngozi sad and worried. Meanwhile, Ngozi found herself alone, unwanted by the villagers due to her outcast status. The only one who offered to care for her was Pastor Okonkwo, who had promised Ngozi's grandmother, Anene, to look after her. Ngozi went to live with Pastor Okonkwo and his wife, but life became unbearable. Ngozi was treated like a maid, burdened with all household responsibilities and deprived of educational opportunities. She suffered mistreatment in the hands of Pastor Okonkwo's wife. Following Anene's passing, Ngozi struggled to secure regular meals at Pastor Okonkwo's house as she stayed for days without adequate food. Driven by the unbearable conditions, Ngozi resolved to escape the oppressive environment. With determination, she packed her belongings and departed Pastor Okonkwo's house without notice, seeking freedom from her hardships. For days, Ngozi wandered the streets, facing hunger and tiredness. She found shelter in an empty market store where she sleeps at night. To survive on the streets, Ngozi resorted to begging for food, as many villagers did not care to help due to her outcast status. However, a compassionate few extended kindness by sharing some of their leftovers from their market sales with her. While living on the streets, Ngozi faced frequent insults regarding her appearance. Ngozi faced unjust accusations for the misfortunes endured by her family. Things became so difficult as she would cry and pray. While seeking solace in prayer, she would long for a reunion with her beloved grandmother in the afterlife. One day, as Ngozi was passing by, she noticed a group of villagers training as athletes for an upcoming marathon race. This race was organized annually by the people from Obodo Igbo, and it held significant importance in the village of Nnu. This competition always brought development opportunities for both the youths of Ngwi and the entire community. This time, the winners were promised a better life and a chance to represent the village and the state at the national competition. Captivated by the trainings, Ngozi watched with keen interest, harboring a secret desire to join them. Every morning, she would visit the open field where the athletes practiced, longing to participate. One fateful day, the coach, Coach Emeka, noticed her presence and approached her with curiosity. "Hey girl, who are you? What are you doing here?" The coach inquired. "I am Ngozi," she replied timidly. "Ngozi what? What brings you here?" The coach pressed further. I want to take part in this training, sir," Ngozi answered earnestly. The coach chuckled. "Are you sure you're ready for this? Do you know how long these athletes have been training?" "I believe I can keep up, sir," Ngozi insisted. "Why are you barefooted? Where are your sports shoes? You can't participate without proper footwear," the coach pointed out. Sir, I will go and get them," Ngozi promised. But where was Ngozi going to get shoes from? She didn't have money for good clothes or feeding, let alone a sports shoe. Ngozi went running around in the marketplace with the hope of finding a sports shoe. Suddenly, she remembered seeing a shoe in the dustbin near the market square as she passed by once. So she quickly rushed to the place and found the sports shoe still lying in the trash. Ngozi dusted it off and put it on her feet. It was a bit too big for her, but it didn't matter because now she had the shoe. After getting a sports shoe, Ngozi quickly ran back to the training ground where she joined her fellow athletes. They trained together, and after each training sections, they were provided with meals. This routine continued, and Ngozi was always assured of a meal after her early morning training, even though she never gets to eat again throughout the day. Coach Emeka was impressed by Ngozi's performance. She turned out to be one of his best performers, showcasing so much agility and running like a speed of light. When the news of Ngozi's daring plan to enter the upcoming marathon race hit the village, it spread like wildfire. Whispers filled the air, eyebrows were raised, and tongues were wagged as villagers gathered to discuss this unexpected turn of events. Why in the name of our ancestors would Ngozi even think of running for us? One villager exclaimed, his voice echoing with disbelief. Has she forgotten her place? But amidst the uproar, one question echoed louder than the rest. How on earth will Coach Emeka allow this to happen? The villagers were fuming. Their angers reached a boiling point as they marched straight to the king's palace, demanding answers and resolution. In one of the villagers' voice, he shouted, "No one regarded as an outcast can represent me in this competition. This competition is for the true daughters and sons of the soil." Also, when the elders heard of Ngozi's audacious ambition, they knew they had to act fast. They gathered an emergency meeting in the heart of the village under the shade of the ancient baobab tree. The air was filled with tension as they spoke in length about the issue. "Elders, we cannot let this stand," cried one of the elders, his eyes flashing with determination. "Ngozi's participation in this race is an insult to our tradition. Are there no other villagers who can run better than Ngozi? We must put an end to this madness before it's too late." And so, with the fate of the village and its tradition, the elders vowed to take swift and decisive action to ensure that Ngozi's worried dream never became a reality.